the Israeli delegations were given observer status as the African Union, South Africa protested very strongly that that decision was taken by the Secretary General without consultation. And it caused a major uproar where all the political organizations in Southern Africa, in fact, clubbed together and wrote a common letter to the Secretary General of the African Union to tell them that there is no way that the presence of the Israelis murderers or the presence of the or Israelis occupiers be allowed in the particular assembly. And at the last assembly, you will remember that the delegations was ejected.
Over a billion Muslims around the world celebrating the holy fasting month of Ramadan could remember the suffering of the Palestinians under the Israeli occupation, which practices all forms and patterns of violence against the Palestinian people in the occupied land, mainly in occupied Jerusalem and Al-Haram al-Sharif of Al-Aqsa. The nation needs to remember its first Qibla of Al-Aqsa as desecrated by Israeli settlers and the Israeli army every day, attacking worshippers, killing their children, and humiliating their women. To see how Ramadan attracts the attention of Muslims around the world to the ordeal of the Palestinian people, I have with me via Skype social activist and supporter of the Palestinians' right to get free from the shackles of the Israeli occupation, Mr. Nadim Hendrik from South Africa. Welcome, Mr. Nadim, to our program.
Shukran for having me. I really appreciate this particular honor to be able to address the people of Palestine.
Yeah, we know that the month of Ramadan is a month of worship and a month of fasting, and it is also a month of solidarity. And we know about your activities during this holy Muslims month of fasting. How you use it to promote solidarity with the Palestinian people and raising awareness of the people you are interacting with in South Africa about the Palestinian suffering under the Israeli occupation army and settlers practices.
Yeah, I just want to tell you something very exciting. Whilst I've been involved in the fight for Palestine and the freedom for Palestine from the river to the ocean for many, many years, more than 50 years. This week, the fight for the atrocities that the Zionists, the Israelis are perpetrating against the people at Al-Aqsa has taken a new meaning in Cape Town, South Africa. We have organized one of the first protest demonstrations at the very heart of the Israeli Zionists here in Cape Town. Next to the Parliament of Cape Town, there is what is known as the Holocaust Museum, and it's also known as the Solomon Buildings. Those are the two, the site that is right next to South Africa's Parliament, that is holy land for the Israelis and for the Zionists. But we, who's been activists against the Israeli brutal occupation of Palestine, took up the daring strike decision to strike right at the very heart of Israel. So we went to protest over there last week on Wednesday, and on this Wednesday we're having a massive protest, a massive picket right there at the Israeli Holocaust Center and the Solomon Buildings, which is the intelligence and the security networks of the South African Jewish Board. So as you can see, while we are fasting and while we are feeding the vulnerable and the poor all over Cape Town, there is extreme activism and this anger against what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinian women and children, especially the women. We saw the gruesome pictures where the Zionist Defense Force ejected the women and manhandled and brutally attacked them when they were performing their particular Islamic rituals at Al-Aqsa. So it is without doubt, brother.
Yes.
Cape Town, only where I am, but all over Cape Town, I think there's about 15 different towns, small townships in Cape Town alone. And every particular mosque, there is a anger, there is a talk, there is a solidarity, a protest, a solidarity expression against the
Yes, and
atrocities.
Mr. Nadim, yes, you know that we have many human stories. Every day we have a human story here in Palestine because of the Israeli occupation violence against our people. Tell me, when you tell such a story to the people you are interacting with, what impact these stories have on them? For example, on the last Friday, Israeli occupation killed Dr. Muhammad Lasebi. He graduated from a university in Romania. He returned here to work as a doctor. Even he is living inside Israel, in the Nakab, in the Negev. But when he tried to prevent Israeli police from harming a Palestinian woman, they shot him dead. So when you tell about these stories, what impact they leave on the people you're dealing with?
Look, when he was shot and he was killed, it was a major uproar in all the mosques here in Cape Town. You know, we were absolutely shocked and devastated at his particular murder. We call it a murder. And I can tell you it's still reverberating on all the social media Islamic sites here in Cape Town with regard to that particular atrocity. No, Cape Town is on top of whatever is happening over there, and you know, whenever something like that happens, then there is an outburst, there is a cry, there is a shout, there is a protest, there is an absolute anger in all the different areas here in Cape Town. And we are acutely aware that the Zionist movement to have no particular sympathy as to who they kill, because they have carte blanche from the United Nations and from America, whereby they can kill without being accountable. So we are actually very angry, and we are expressing it. And this Friday at the mosque, everybody is going to speak about it from the mimbar, I am told.
Yes, and Mr. Nadim, the Israeli government has been trying to penetrate Africa in general, the whole of the continent, by starting relationships and normalization with some African governments. Now, your solidarity campaigns and you raising awareness about Israel as an apartheid colonial regime, that no relationship or normalization should be with it. What impact your activities have, not only on South Africa, but also the nearby countries and governments?
Yeah, you must remember that when the Israeli delegations were given observer status as the African Union, South Africa protested very strongly that that decision was taken by the Secretary General without consultation. And it caused a major uproar where all the particular organizations in Southern Africa, in fact, clubbed together and wrote a common letter to the Secretary General of the African Union to tell them that there is no way that the presence of the Israelis murderers or the presence of the or Israelis occupiers be allowed in the particular assembly. And at the last assembly, you will remember that the delegations was ejected. That is on the initiative of the South African delegation because of the pressures that is being placed by the BDS and the Palestinian Solidarity Committees in South Africa on all its particular affiliates here in Southern Africa. So we must never doubt that the Zionists is working 24 hours a day to penetrate every particular social fabric, every particular government organization to legitimize their particular existence. But here in Southern Africa and in Africa, we can say very clearly, especially in Southern Africa, that they don't stand a chance because they are being monitored. But they are attempting all the time. People here in South Africa, people in Zimbabwe, people in Zambia, in Mozambique, is clearly rejecting their particular presence and their particular assistance in a very big way. So there is great movement and great cooperation between different NGOs and community organizations to to oppose Israel's penetration into the African fabric of society.
Yes. Mr. Nadim Hendricks, social activist and supporter of the Palestinians' right to freedom and independence. Thank you very much. It has been a great honor having you in our program. Thank you.
Shukran very much to everybody, and enjoy your Eid. Shukran.
You're welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and from me, Osama Nazal. Have a nice time.